Can the Spurs survive without Victor Wembanyama in Game 3? And does De'Aaron Fox need a redemption game? What is going on, Spurs fans? Welcome back to another episode of Spurs in Focus right here on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Podcasts, YouTube Music, Pocket Cast. Pick a platform. We are there. And thank you for making Spurs in Focus your first and only spot to come here, right here, for all things San Antonio Spurs. This should be your first listen each and every day. Ignore everybody else. Don't go to those shows. You want to come right here to Spurs in Focus. Don't forget about the Substack, completely free. Spurs in Focus on Substack. Go sign up right now. I am your host, Jeff Garcia, longtime Spurs writer in San Antonio. And what are we talking about today? If you're watching on YouTube, you can see it on your screen. If not, I'll let you know right now. Surviving without Wemby. As y'all know, the big news coming out of Game 2, aside from the loss, is Victor Wembanyama suffered a concussion. Mitch Johnson confirmed it after the game, and now he is in NBA concussion protocols. Chances are likely, and the odds are not in favor of him being ready for the next game in Portland. So can the Spurs survive a playoff game without Mr. Number One on that court? And then does De'Aaron Fox need a redemption game? Yeah, didn't really play that well in that fourth period when the game was on the line. Does Fox need to just raise his game to another level if Wemby does not play? And then are the Blazers trying to say something? Could Dame Time be back? We'll talk about that and more. And yes, there will be a nerd segment. We haven't had one formally. I know we had a quasi one yesterday with James Pledger. It wasn't on the deck, but Pledger had to go there. He had to bring up some nerd stuff. So we're gonna have a formal one today, and I think y'all can tell what we're going to be talking about if you've been following me on X at Jeff G Spurs Zone. Yeah, let's go and bring in our guest, everybody. He is back from the episode, Mr. Rudy Campos of the Sports Answer. And I think he would be tempted to take the chemicals that turned the guy into Clayface. Imagine having that power. Would you go for it? Would you say, you know what? This stuff will make me be whatever I want? Would you do that?
It's funny. I don't think I will. I'm going to be one to say probably not.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just something about Clayface, guys like Clayface, the Sandman, even Hydro Man, turn into water from Spider-Man. I don't know if I can go that route. I'm going to say no. It would be kind of cool, but to live your life in clay, I don't know if I can do that, man. Sorry.
We'll talk about it more on the nerd segment, and I think y'all can figure out what my answer will be. Yes, I would. Let's go ahead and again, he is on X at the Sports Answer. Follow him ASAP. More on what he's doing on his neck of the woods in just a few minutes. All right, Rudy, let's dive into it. I think we all know right now Wemby suffered a concussion in Game 2, smacked his head right on that court. It actually rebounded off the court. He looked like he was kind of staggering a bit. If you watch the video, his arm kind of buckles, then he reestablishes himself. He took off to the locker room and did not return to the game. As of now, Mitch Johnson did say after the game that Wemby suffer concussion, and they're following the NBA protocols. Now, we're going to go with the assumption for this show that he is not going to play. There's a lot of hurdles that the Spurs have and Wemby have to clear. Automatically, it's a 48-hour nothing. He can't do anything. So 48 hours, which fits within the big, long break the Spurs have between Game 2 and Game 3. Great. But there's still other extra hurdles that he has to jump through in order to be cleared. Knowing the Spurs, they're probably not going to play him. I can definitely see that not happening. Even if he's begging to play, I can see Mitch Johnson, coaching staff, doctors say, you know what? We're good. Sit this one out, big guy. So we're going to go with the assumption for this episode, okay? Obviously, things could change between now and you watch this, but for purposes of this show, we're going to go with that premise. So it begs the question, Rudy, can this team survive without Victor? They showed that they could in the regular season. Let's underscore that. Regular season. But this is the playoffs, Rudy. This is a different animal. You're going into hostile territory, a Portland team that is has that mojo in their favor right now. They stole the home court advantage. is going back to Portland. It's going to be in their house. Denny's looking positive. Holiday's looking positive. The Blazers world is loving this right now. Rudy, are you worried that because the stakes are higher, the Spurs may struggle without the All-Star center?
Will they struggle? Yes, they'll struggle a little bit, but I don't think it's enough to actually say they're going to lose the series. I'm not so much worried about the Spurs players. I think they'll be able to bounce back. It's more of, I think we'll get into this in a little bit, but it's more of the adjustments on Coach Mitch Johnson and his staff that's going to be able to determine how well and how good the Spurs team can go on and beat Portland in this series without Victor. Safe to say, I mean, you brought up the protocol about the concussion for Victor Wembanyama, but also taking consideration, yes, it's 48 hours, and I see a lot of fans saying that they're hopeful. But if you dive real deep into it, I mean, just go ahead and, look up stuff, left and right on the internet. A lot of even doctors will tell you they don't even want you flying for the first week or 2 weeks in a concussion. So there's a lot of hurdles, as you mentioned. Can they win without Wemby? Yes, they can. They've proved it throughout the regular season that they can win without Wemby. I actually think that this loss wasn't as, doomsday-ish loss as a lot of fans may interpret it to be. A lot of it came down to, what was Portland number one at the regular season, Jeff? Offensive rebounds, second chance points. That was all we saw. The Spurs could not get a rebound to save their lives. There was even an opportunity where they think Portland had 2 or 3 offensive attempts off of a rebound, and then Robert Williams ended up hitting a three-pointer from the corner. So, eventually, if you're going to give a team like Portland extra opportunities, they're going to take advantage of it. So I think there's going to be some adjustment. Overall, yes, they can survive, but I have to look at Mitch and the coaching staff to say, okay, what is your adjustment now with Wemby being out?
It's going to be interesting because I know winning in the regular season does not compare to possibly trying to win in the postseason. This is a different set of circumstances. The guys are learning it. What has Devin Vassell been saying? He's been pretty much highlighting how every possession matters. He's been learning that fast. And when you're losing not only your biggest weapon defensively and perhaps your biggest weapon offensively, that can shake a team that I believe, Rudy, and not that I believe, I know, they showed no poise in that fourth period in game 2. They did not play basketball as we saw in the regular season. You saw rush shots. You saw Fox take some ill-advised shots, more than him in a bit. You just saw them evaporate and lose that they had a 14-point lead. That's what concerns me the most, is that in game 2, they were cruising to a W. I thought, yep, that's the Spurs. They showed they can win without Wemby, but they collapsed so fast. My fear is that we see what the Blazers did in game 2. Blazers came out in game 2 and popped them in the mouth. They came and they punched them. Yeah. They just like, whoa. And now you got Blazers realizing that, hey, they're likely not going to have Wemby for the first game in our gym. We're going to go big. Splitter talked about that after the game, saying the moment they go small, and know that's coming, we're going to go big, and that's how we're going to beat them. Which begs the question as far as the umbrella of surviving without Wemby. Cornette, he's going to do a damn good job. We know he has. Every time he steps in for Wemby, even the regular season until now, he elevates his game. Kudos. But it's who backs him up. Mitch Johnson said that they're going to have to rethink about Carter Bryant being the backup small big to Cornette. Yeah. Rudy, you have an issue with that. You feel that you got the bigs on the roster. Why not use them?
Well, there was a reason why you went out and signed Kelly Olynyk. You still have Biyombo, but then you went out and got a Mason Plumlee as well. The reason being is because the idea of Victor possibly being out due to injury, it's on everybody's mind. We've seen injuries in the past for Victor, so he's been out significant periods of time for the Spurs, and this is what happened. He goes down with a concussion, and you only see Luke Cornette play when you've got 3 other bigs on the roster. Legitimately 2 with Olynyk and Plumlee, who have, a lot of experience. At one point, they even had Mason Plumlee getting ready to check in the game. And when I say that, not at the scores table, but they had him on the bike, working out, getting loose so he can come in. I figured that they were going to go with a Cornette Plumlee rotation. Didn't see that. If you notice, a lot of the runs from Portland came when Carter Bryant was your center. And that's where a lot of second chance opportunities came in. So I am applauding Mitch Johnson to know that, hey, we may need to reconsider Carter Bryant being our big man on the floor in that rotation. You're going to have to rebound with Portland. They could not get a rebound to save their life when they had that small ball lineup. When you go small ball, you're anticipating the offense to be just move, open shot after open shot, just continue to tire out the big men. Didn't work against Portland. Thiago's right. If they're not going to have Wemby, then he's going to throw everything in the kitchen sink when it comes to big men against the Spurs. Mitch needs to counter that. Use Plumlee, use Olynyk, use Cornette. Just use all the bigs. This is the reason why you've got him, Jeff. And again, this whole loss, I don't think it's so much on the players, or we'll get into. I look at it as the rotation that Mitch went with kind of bit him in the butt there.
Yeah, I believe the screen on with Cornette for a little bit longer here is simply because he's serviceable, but he gets gassed, and we've seen it already in a couple of games. And he's doing a lot. He's having to contend with Klingon and Williams and Grant. So that's a lot on his shoulders. So I don't know if the Carter Bryant thing is going to work moving forward. I really don't think so.
It'll work if he's not the center.
That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. I think he's just out of position. Yeah. He'll work, just not end the backup big. But I don't know if I trust. Let me rephrase it. I would say trust is the wrong word. I don't know how long you can survive with Biyombo, because he's kind of an undersized big as well. Yes, he's a veteran. He's a big guy. He's a big dude. He's strong, but he's still on the small side compared to the Portland bigs. Plumlee, sure, bring him in, but again, I'm just thinking like, man, I think even Portland could possibly expose those guys. I think your best backup big is probably Olynyk at this point. What do you think?
I think Olynyk is your best backup big, and it makes me laugh because remember halfway through the season, during the trade deadline, I made a post about the Spurs should really consider offering Jakob Poeltl to get Jakob Poeltl back in San Antonio. I had so many people say he's injured, he's da. Well, I mean, you just kind of need him for a playoff push, and imagine if you were to have a Jakob Poeltl just as a backup. I mean, you've already got a playoff experience guy. You've got a guy who knows the system. So that's the reason why I threw names out there to maybe in consideration. But right now with Cornette, Olynyk would probably be your best backup. But after that, it's Plumlee. I mean, they're going to have to throw something at this Portland team in order to get the rebounding situation under control. You cannot expect Cornette to go out there and play 35, 36 minutes. It's just not going to happen. So, I like that he tried the Carter Bryant experiment at 5. I hope he understands and listens that it's probably not going to work. And you know what? If it does work for game 3, great. Try it again. I don't know. But again, I think from everybody's perspective, everybody that watched the game, you got to go big. You got to match up big for big. There's no way to go small ball against Portland right now.
No, there's not. Scoot Henderson, played great. I could see him definitely using those big boy picks from Klingon and Williams. Even Grant, especially if the Spurs go small, they could just attack the Spurs in that direction. We didn't even talk about Denny, who had a pedestrian game in game 2. Yeah. So he's going to be amped up for game 3 to rebound from his subpar game 2. But nevertheless, surviving without Wemby. Again, we're going with the premise that he's not going to play. And again, the Spurs or the NBA has not officially said anything about his status going into game 3 as of yet. But all signs are pointing to probably not going to play. Is this a risky move? I mean, I guess they have no choice. They got no choice. If he's under protocols, they got no choice. So, yeah, man, it just feels like. Why does it feel like game 3 is the series? Is it too soon to say that?
No, because remember, go back when the Spurs played the Mavericks in the first round, they were down 1-2, ended up coming back to beat the Mavericks, and they won the title that same season. So being 1-2 is not end of the world status, especially with San Antonio. I mean, yeah, you got punched in the mouth, but so did a team like Detroit and got punched in the mouth that first game. You saw the Knicks and Atlanta battle back and forth. I mean, even the best team in some regards by a lot of people, the best team in the East, Boston, got punched in the mouth without Joel Embiid playing for Philadelphia. So it's not all end of world stuff for San Antonio because they lost game 2. They go into game 3. I want to say it's going to still be competitive. I don't think Portland's going to run away with it.
Right.
But again, if the Spurs lose game 2, I'm worried. I'm not panicking. I'm a little worried, but I'm still okay with it. I think they bounce back no matter what.
Yeah, I at this recording, I'm 50-50. I don't know if the Spurs can do it or not. Not to say they can, because they've shown they can, but it's, for me, the factor in this situation is that this is a playoff game. This is a playoff game. And we all seen it. You know, these young guys are learning right now, what it's like to ratchet up your game another level. And you don't have your number one guy on that floor. Yes, we heard them talk about this cliche. Everybody has to step up. Next man up, but those are some big shoes to fill. Can they do it? Of course they can. But another factor about this is that how they wilted in the fourth quarter versus the Blazers in game 2. Couldn't maintain a 14-point lead. You couldn't maintain that. You let the Blazers go on a 27-10 run to close out that game. Your defense evaporated. Your offense just was stumbling out of the blocks. I get it. You move on. You make your adjustments and let the chips fall where they may in game 3. But you got hostile territory, playoff atmosphere. You're lacking your number one guy on both ends of the court. Cornette can do a lot, but he ain't Wemby. And then the question now is who backs him up. Likely Carter Bryant, probably not going to do that again. But is Olynyk ready? I think so. Is Plumlee ready? Yes, they're both savvy veterans. They'll probably make an impact. And this is why you got them. This is why you mentioned you have them on the roster. Now it's time to earn that check and step up right now. But ultimately, I do believe the Spurs can survive at least game 3 without him. Will they win? I don't know yet. I don't know.
Look at the Scoot Henderson thing. I'm gonna put this in perspective.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead. If you got something, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you something though.
Okay.
Is there a possibility he could be out even for game 4? Is that on the table?
Yes.
It is on the table.
If you go back and look at the video, I mean, the way he hit his head, the way his eyes closed immediately, and then he kind of snapped out of it after just a few seconds. Yes, the possibility of him being out for game 3 and 4 is definitely there. Will it happen? That's kind of a toss-up. I kind of expect him to be out in game 3 just because that 48-hour window, it's, the minimum. But again, you are flying. A lot of doctors don't like you to fly after a concussion, because if it's a serious concussion, then they kind of have a little bit of worries on that. So I think he may be able to travel with the team. He might be okay, but you're not going to really know anything for sure until maybe Friday midday before we even know if he's going to be ruled in or out. I think for a fact, Jeff, I think he's going to be out game 3. I could potentially see him being out game 4 only because it's so close. It's Friday, then it's Sunday. And even at that, it's Sunday at 2:30. So, I mean, it's a lot. It's real close in between. So the possibilities, I think, are very there.
All right. But you're mentioning about Scoot Henderson.
So the Scoot Henderson thing, I mean, this is the perfect case of one player just getting hot who normally doesn't put up a 30 piece in the game. The guy averages, I think it's like 19 points a game, 18 points a game. So he got hot. Are we expecting to see Scoot Henderson put up 30 points a game, 28 points a game? We don't. I don't expect that at all. He was just on one that night, and it happened. So if you go back to his regular average, I mean, Spurs win by 8 or 9 points. But again, not to take anything away from Scoot, it was rebounding, and it was a great night by Scoot Henderson, the number 3 pick, who in that Wemby draft, who just, he had something to prove that night, and I applaud him for it. But again, I don't expect him to go for 30 points again. Yeah.
There's a lot of question marks right now surrounding the Spurs without Wemby, but man, that's a massive loss. And for the Blazers, they're probably thinking, we have to get this game 2. We have to get it, because imagine if they lose, they'll be like, we lost, and their number one guy was not even on the floor. That monster was not out there. Yeah. And man, it'll suck for them. So the Blazers are going to come out with guns blazing. So be ready for that. But hey, what do y'all think? Can the Spurs survive without Wemby? Let Rudy know on X at the Sports Answer. Let me know on X at Jeff G Spurs Zone. When we get back, does De'Aaron Fox need to have himself a redemption game in Game 3? You're talking about De'Aaron Fox in just a few seconds.
As the new leader of the Decepticons, I command you to subscribe to Spurs in Focus.
Rudy, why is Scream always trying, man? He's always trying to take that leadership role, man. And you just heard him right now. He's all bragging. I don't even know if Megatron knows that.
Always was he always the bridesmaid, never the bride? Starscream.
Yeah.
I mean, could you imagine the Decepticons would probably be even that much more evil and more dominant if he would accept his role like Soundwave and Shockwave? I mean, I think that would be, instead of trying to compete with Megatron, but that's a whole nother nerd segment we can get into maybe next week.
All right, quick question though. If you're Megatron, would you have offed him the moment you sense betrayal? This guy is coming to stab you in the back?
Yeah, probably. I mean, Megatron's pretty ruthless, so yeah.
He is Mr. Rudy Campos with the Sports Answer. I am your host, Jeff Garcia, over at Spurs in Focus on Substack. Go subscribe right now. Talk about your San Antonio Spurs with Game 3 looming. Now, let's rewind the clock a little bit to Game 2. Victor's out. Your second guy's going to step up, right? De'Aaron Fox. That's where you made the trade. Paid him those big bucks. Gave him that extension. He is the co-star that you need whenever Wemby is not doing well on the floor. Right? Well, probably not. In Game 2, he laid an egg when the Spurs needed him most. Now, he did finish with 17 points. He was a +6 in the fourth quarter, but he didn't shoot the ball well, didn't rise to the occasion. And as the guys were saying afterwards, everybody's got to take a step up. Everybody's got next man up and everything. Well, the next man up is De'Aaron Fox. He should have been stepping his game up the moment Wemby was out. So, does he need to redeem himself in Game 3? We all know Victor is likely not going to play. It's all on De'Aaron Fox to lead the way. Do you expect Fox to have a redeem game?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what we mean by redeem game. 30 points, 35 points. I mean,
I'll take
that would be
it.
a really good redemption
That'd
game.
That'd be awesome. Yes.
I get, this is my problem. I don't always defend De'Aaron Fox, and people that listen to the other shows that I do, I don't always defend him. I call it like it is all the time, but I still don't understand the hate for De'Aaron Fox, when it comes to fans and not you, but other media people that do podcasting and all this other stuff. The only reason why he gets hate is because he makes max money, and that's not his fault that he makes max money. When Stephon Castle makes max money, are we going to get on his ass for making, having, games where he's only getting 18 points, 17 points, is shooting terrible and not showing up in clutch times? When he gets max deals, are we going to go after Castle? Are we going to go after a guy like Devin Vassell, who was 0 for 5 from three-point range and only shot, 37% from the field? In fact, Vassell and Fox shot exactly the same, 6 of 16 from the field. So I don't understand where De'Aaron Fox's name comes up, other than the fact that, well, he makes $60 million. We can't really blame the guy for making that money when the contract was offered to him. Yeah. He didn't walk into the Spurs front office and say, hey, this is my number. I want this number or I'm leaving. No, the Spurs said, this is the number. Would you accept it? Sure, I'll accept it. I mean, I get he's the second player on the team. He's the guy, the next go-to guy, but pull a lot of people out there, Jeff. Who's the real second guy? It's always going to pretty much be Stephon Castle's name that's coming up. It's Castle and it's Wemby. Fox is right there too. But the only time when the Spurs lose, it's always, well, because of De'Aaron. I mean, he's made $60 million. All three guards had good games. Vassell, Fox, Castle, they all had 16, 17, and 18 points. They all put up decent numbers because they didn't show up in clutch time. Again, was that more on the players or was that more on the coach who didn't have a big man said clutch time when they were getting out rebounded? So again, does he have a redemption game? I don't know how much more of a redemption game we need to see. If we need to see 30, 35 points from him, okay. If we can get 25, 26 points from him, that'll be great. But what if he ends the game with, 18 points and the Spurs still win the game? is that still enough, or is it just based off of wins or losses?
Sorry, Rudy. He needs to have a redemption game. I think he needs to have one. No, he is the co-star as of this season. He is
Okay.
it. Now I get what you're saying. Castle's there, and I think he will supplant Fox, maybe as soon as next season. But as of now, he is the one with the playoff experience. I know it was minimal, but he still has it. He is the guy that has been heralded as the co-star. So play like the co-star. And I get what you're saying about the money. It's not his fault. The Spurs made the deal and everything, but he's still getting paid those max bucks to show up when the Spurs need him. And he did not show up when the Spurs needed him in that crucial fourth period in game 2. I need him to drop 30. Yes, Rudy. I need to see that. I need to see him drop 25. I'll take that. And you mentioned about the lower numbers, but the Spurs win. Fine. But I already see those assist numbers sky high, 8, 9, 10 assists. I need to see him raise his game. You can almost forgive maybe a Keldon and a Vassell. So this is their first taste of playoff experience. This is their learning curve right now. But this is a guy who's been there, done that, at least in one series in his career. It's a lot more than what most of this roster has under their belt. So no, I need to see him step up now. Go help lead this team to a win in Portland. Get that home court advantage back. Fox, I need you to step up ASAP. But Rudy, you mentioned Castle as one of your guys that you need to see step up, and I agree with you too there. I think he was forcing a lot of stuff in game 2 and didn't really have that Castle game. Do you think maybe Scoot got in his head a little bit because they were kind of jawing a bit? It was like Scoot got the best of him in that game. But do you have to – is this kind of a all-hands-on-deck situation if we leave Fox alone for a little bit right now? Is it, all right, this is all hands on deck. I don't care if you have 0 experience or 100 years of playoff experience. Every guy's got to do it.
Yeah, it's the playoffs. It's the NBA playoffs, man. You lose and you go home, basically. So it's got to be all hands on deck. You've got to see guys with 0 experience all the way up to like 10 years experience in the playoffs. Every guy's got to step up. And it's also regardless whether Victor plays or not.
Mm-hmm.
It shouldn't matter if Victor's in or out of a lineup. If he's playing great, if he's not playing great, you should still be able to rise up to the occasion. You should still be able to play your game. And, the Scoot Henderson thing, it comes back to that. Take away Scoot being as hot as he was. Denny wasn't having a great game at all. Shaedon Sharpe kind of started off a little strong, then he cooled off. But outside of Scoot Henderson, really Drew Holiday made key plays. He finished the game, I think, with 16 points, but it's those 9 assists. A lot of those assists came off second chance opportunities off the rebound. Right. So, I think the Spurs guards played well overall. And it's just maximized and it's magnified because of what Scoot was able to do. It's like, well, they couldn't stop Scoot Henderson on the defensive side and they couldn't knock down a shot. Like I said, I think the Scoot Henderson 30-point game, if he makes me eat my words, I will be glad to get on the show and say he made me eat my words. But I don't think we see another 30-point performance from Scoot Henderson like that. It's kind of one of those games where it's, hey, they won. But maybe think about it like this. Victor did go down with a very serious injury. As a player, when I've played basketball, if I saw a teammate go down, I have that in the back of my head a little bit too. So could focus still be there? Could focus not be there? It kind of plays into a little bit too. You're wondering what's going on. Is he coming back? How serious is it? So it's just one of those games. And I look at it and I'm like, you know what? It could have been a 116-103 win for Portland. It could have just got way out of hand. And then more chaos would have erupted, but it was 106-103. Spurs had a chance to tie it at the end. It's okay. It's just game 2. I say, just move on to game 3 and see what happens.
See, I would be on that with you, Rudy, if this was a seasoned playoff experience team, and it's not. I think one game.
Portland's not seasoned.
Fine. But I understand that. But for me, I don't give a shit about Portland right now. I care about that team in black and silver. And I'm just worried about them just getting rattled. Like, I hope that loss of Wemby, losing the home court advantage, seeing a 14-point lead evaporate doesn't rattle them in the playoffs. Again, different beast here. Regular season, postseason. Regular season, they survived without Wemby. We haven't seen that on this stage yet.
Okay.
And that's just the only thing I'm concerned about. I hope they erase my doubts the moment the ball goes up in the air and they
Haven't
come out.
they erased your doubts all season though?
They have, yes, they have. But
Okay.
again, different stage.
It's a different stage, but it's the same game. Like it's the different stage. It's regular season, it's postseason, but it's the same game. You're still rocking with the same team that went an entire season without losing back-to-back games. Yeah. Just because regular season is different from postseason and postseason means more, doesn't mean doesn't mean the focus of a San Antonio Spurs team changes. It's still one large season for this team. The good thing about it is that they don't have to lose to Minnesota, lose to Denver, worry about the Warriors the next night, a three game tough stretch there. What they have to worry about is refocusing and just trying to figure out this Blazers team, which there's really not much to figure out other than rebounding the basketball. If they get some of those rebounds to take away those second chance opportunities, they beat Portland and pretty easily too. So there's a lot of little things that happen, but when I'm talking about the regular season, postseason, I wouldn't so much stress about what you saw in game 2. This team is young, but so is Portland. Drew Holiday is their most skilled guy when it comes to postseason ball, similar to De'Aaron Fox. Now, Drew Holiday, he's got a title, obviously, but you also have a guy in Luke Cornett, former teammate, that has a title as well. So I would say both teams are young, but if we learned anything from the regular season is that when we all think the wheels are about to fall off, they don't. They keep on trucking. They prove us all wrong. I think that's the same thing that happens here.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Rudy. I have to just go back to me, I see it as apples and oranges. I see the apples regular season. I see the oranges as playoffs. And yes, you prove to me and the fan base and Rudy that you don't lose more than 2 games in a row. That was it. That was the longest losing streak in this 2 games straight. The Warriors beat them back to back. A couple other teams did it too, but it was rare.
Let me show you something.
Now, let me see it. Can you now prove it to me in the postseason?
Okay, let me show you something. And you can probably take a commercial break after this. But did you ever doubt this machine right here?
The Falcon.
When it went through hell and when it got beat up, you knew somehow that the Millennium Falcon was always going to be there at the end and come through.
Seasoned Falcon.
At one point the Falcon did not have any experience in anything, and it still survived. So,
but it proved it.
And
the
again,
Spurs haven't proved it in the playoffs yet.
It's their first playoffs. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Like, it's their first playoff. Now prove it.
But it's Portland's first playoff too. So I mean,
I don't care about Portland.
I know you don't care about Portland. What I'm trying to tell you is that we have the better team in San Antonio. It's been proven all season. Portland had to go through a play-in spot to get into the postseason. They were not a playoff team. Again, this is a team that both teams suck when it comes to playoffs. Let's put it out there. Okay. They both have 2 coaches that suck in the playoffs too because they don't have playoff experience coaching. When it all comes down to it, there's one team that's been dominant all season long with the likes of OKC and not even Detroit, just 2 teams really. That's the Spurs and OKC. Again, the regular season showed us one thing. It's that they've come back, refocused. They learn from their mistakes as a team. They don't get rattled. It is the playoffs, but I don't expect them to get rattled. If we're talking Spurs in Denver, Spurs in OKC, Spurs in Minnesota, yes, I would say I am extremely panicking and I'm extremely scared. We're talking about Portland right now. Still very early in the series, man.
And I understand that, but the scene has shifted to Portland.
You might be the bad guy this time. I'm actually
they stole the home court advantage.
Okay.
And you're likely not going to have number 1 in a jersey for game 3. All right. They choked away a double-figure lead in the 4th. Okay. And it's a young, inexperienced, now baby experienced playoff team. But you're right. No, I get what you're trying to say. Portland is also inexperienced, right? And I'm not trying to rain the parade. I'm just saying, yes, you prove to me, Spurs, that you can win in the regular season without Wemby and not lose more than 2 games in a row. Great. But how about on this stage now? That's all. Just see if you could do it on this stage. Every club that is out of their rebuild has to go through these steps. This is probably the first big step the Spurs are going to take in going back to the NBA mountaintop. And look, all teams have to go through heartache. Guess what? The Bulls went through heartache. Guess what? The Tim Duncan went through heartache. What was that like? They had one of the best records, or not the best record, one of the best records in the NBA. And then Utah Jazz and the Utah Jazz team beat them in the second round, and that was with, so it happens. So I don't know. I hope this is not their learning lump in the head, and better luck next season. But we shall see. But no, wow, Game 3 cannot hurry up enough, man. I just got to see this team in action and how they're going to fare without Wemby in the postseason. Hey, let Rudy know what you think about his thoughts about this topic on X at the Sports Answer. Let me know on X, as well as Jeff G Spurs Zone. There we go. See, I'm all wired up now. Rudy got me all fired up now. All right. Well,
I've never done that.
Yeah. Well, Rudy, speaking of Game 3, I think the Blazers trying to troll us right now. Are they trying to troll? Did you see what they put out on X? If you didn't, we're gonna play it for you right now. Let's go ahead and play that for everybody.
Sure.
And look who it is. All right, we got the hint. We got the hint there, Blazers.
Yeah.
But again, the official Blazers social media account on X posted that video with the little googly eyes on it, but they didn't say, "Oh, he is back" or "He is officially off the injured list." But we got mind games going on right now, Rudy. Do we have a little bit of that kind of play right now? Yeah. There's no way Dame Dollar comes back for Game 3, right? Right?
It's a 10 to 12 month recovery time for an Achilles tear. Majority of the times we've seen guys return a whole lot sooner, maybe 7-8 months. But it's kind of crazy. If Portland loses Game 2, do you actually see a video like that? I mean, it's more of a troll job, I think, for Portland when it comes to everything like that. I mean, I think they know how to get under San Antonio Spurs fans' skin, and putting something like that out would be like, oh crap, here comes Dame. Yeah. I mean, even if Dame comes back, you can't really expect him to be, super aggressive and super, helpful to this team. Because coming off of an Achilles tear, it's pretty significant, and you're a lot more hesitant, when you're stepping on the court for the first few games. So I don't expect him back. I've not seen any news as of this recording that he is back or even planning to return. He did hurt his Achilles, I think, in the playoffs first round last year. So it's about a 12-month already. We're about a year already. So he could attempt it. But again, I mean, what's the point if he comes back for a couple of games and then re-aggravates it? And he's out for the rest of the playoffs, maybe even longer. That could be a career there. So no, I think it's just more of a troll job, dude. I really am not expecting him back at all.
Yeah. Good job there, Blazers. Good job. But I'm with you. I don't think he'll be back. That was a massive injury, as you highlighted. But just on the off chance that he does, well, first of all, didn't he participate in the 3-point shootout and win?
He did, and he won it, which I'm shocked that he did. But then again, it's not really competitive. So I mean, it's just you're just shooting a basketball. I'm sure he was fine with it.
Well, what are the Blazers? That's all they need him to do. We don't need you to run up the court full speed. Just you'll catch up there and just be that threat on the perimeter.
Actually, it does more harm to them than anything. I think so, because you're going to focus on Dame. But again, why do you put him in that situation? You're going to have him walk up the court while the Spurs have a 5-on-4 break or something. I mean, it does more harm. But also, even a healthy Dame, I don't think makes Portland any more dangerous, because then you start losing the effectiveness of Deni Avdija. You start losing the effect of other guys on the team. So it's kind of.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because it was when Dame went out that Deni's star rose. So keep that in mind. Hey, real quick before we get into our nerd segment, kudos to this guy.
Oh yeah.
Congratulations, Keldon Johnson, NBA Sixth Man of the Year for 2025-26, joins Manu Ginobili as the only Spurs in team history to get that award. Well deserved, well deserved. Even Dylan Harper got some votes. I don't know if you caught that
Yeah,
for
I
Sixth
did.
Man of the Year, but no, good job, Keldon. I mean, what more can you say? To go from the quasi face of the franchise, thrusted into a starting job early in his career, then take a secondary role to Victor Wembanyama as a starter, then getting benched by Popovich, and then him openly admitting in his article on the Players Tribune saying that he did not like going to the bench, that it took a lot for him to accept. And now all his efforts, all his labor off that bench paid off. Averaged 13.2 points per game, 5.4 rebounds in 23 minutes this past season, and one of the few players to play all 82 games for the San Antonio Spurs. I think it was him and Champagny. Set a franchise record with 1,081 bench points, as to say. That was the second most in the NBA. Shot 52% from the field, and was a big reason why the Spurs ended the season 62-20. He received 63 first place votes.
Mhm.
The closest guy was Jaime Jaquez of Miami with 34 first place votes. So kudos to Keldon Johnson. Man, I can't wait to see him get that award. Well deserved. Well deserved.
Yeah, I want to comment on Keldon because I've had the pleasure. I've interviewed him in the radio station
Yeah, I
on a
remember that.
past
Yeah.
show of ours, and got to meet him a couple of times actually. Great guy, man. One of the greatest guys that I've met in person. Very helpful, always looking to help people out no matter what. Accepted, his role as a sixth man, and I understood it was a lot of undertaking for him to do that, but overall, you couldn't have asked for a better guy to win the Sixth Man of the Year award. The guy pours his heart out into this game of basketball. He gives so much to the city in general. He's setting that standard. We're used to Sixth Man of the Year being, in my opinion, it was like Lou Williams, guys like that. Keldon just brings everything that a starter would bring for any other team. And if he was on a lot of other teams, he would be starting on those teams. So kudos to him. Well deserved. Your hard work has paid off. Congratulations, Keldon Johnson. It's not going to be the first. It's definitely not going to be the last for this guy right here. So he's going to get a couple more, I believe.
I think so too. Look, it could be a banner, I guess, technically off season now because regular season's over and the playoff season now, but you got Victor winning the DPOY. You got Keldon winning the Sixth Man of the Year. I mean, There's still a chance Wemby could get the MVP. I mean, it's there, but probably not. But it's still there. You got Brian Wright possibly as a Zach of the Year. You have all NBA first team would likely be Wemby. Mitch Johnson, Coach of the Year, maybe. We don't know yet, but it's still there. So the Spurs could definitely rack up. We haven't even heard from the Sportsmanship Award, where for Harrison Barnes, Teammate of the Year award for De'Aaron Fox. So a lot of awards could be coming to San Antonio. But again, congratulations, Keldon Johnson. Well deserved. All right, let's get a little nerdy right here. All right, so we pretty much opened the can of worms early in the show. The new trailer for Clayface has arrived. It arrived yesterday. And I probably replayed it like 100 times because I could not get enough of it. It is not your typical superhero, bad guy movie, comic book movie. This is more of the horror genre. They're making it as more of a horror film. And from what I read, there'll be no Batman in this movie. So Clayface might be running wild in Gotham until Bats catches up to him. Now, for those who don't know who Clayface is, his history is he was an actor, and all actors, what do they want to do? Look good on screen, stay looking youthful, getting those roles. You don't want to age out. Well, he was tempted by a chemical, some pharmaceutical chemical, and I guess the CEO of it wanted to do kind of a test run, and they gave it to him. And initially it worked. The chemical allowed him to reconstruct his face by, just put a little pressure on the chin, pressure on the eyes or something like that. He can almost be anything, but he got addicted to it and he wanted more. And I think he OD'd on it. I think that's how it went.
If I remember correctly, yeah. It did.
Yeah, I think he OD'd on it, and then it made him go crazy, and then he became the villain known as Clayface. Now in the cartoon, in the comic book, he looks like a pile of mud. I don't know if they're gonna do a pile of mud look in the movie, but nevertheless, that trailer was insanely good. And you wanted horror vibes, you got it. You got it. We didn't see what he looks like when he's in full Clayface form, but did you catch that glimpse of him using the iconic Clayface weapon, that spike ball? What do you think about the trailer?
I love the trailer. I mean, it's
Yeah.
one of those trailers where you're like, I got to see it 10, 12 times.
Yeah.
And then you start to think like, man, I hope they're not screwing this up, and I hope they, stay with it. And you know what? I'm going to go in like I've been going into a lot of the movies, and I'm going in with low expectations. So that way, when it's great, I'm just blown away by it. I loved everything about the trailer, man.
It was great.
I think it was perfect. I think the way the Batman with Robert Pattinson is going, how it's kind of dark. Clayface is taking that same style.
Another level, man.
Also, bring up the Penguin. I mean, that was a dark show as well. So I love the way they're going with DC right now on a lot of this stuff when it comes to Batman. So I'm all for it, man. I'm very excited, very, very excited. So who knows how this is going to go overall. The only question I've got is, who are they going to use in the movie? There like 4 or 5 Clayfaces in comics. There's like a bunch of them.
That's a good point. Yeah, it's a good
Garcia,
point.
Malley was another one. Williams was the latest. Was Williams. I don't know who they're going to use for which Clayface, but to me, it didn't matter either way. It's going to be a great movie.
Yeah, it's going to be a great movie. Yeah, I was kind of hoping Bats would be in it, but apparently he's not going to be in it. I just hope they do allude to it. Maybe that could be like how the movie ends, is
post credit
something where Bats gets notified, a la, remember in Batman Begins with Bale, the ending scene was Commissioner Gordon saying like, hey, there's this guy walking around here kind of crazy, this and that, and he leaves like a mark, he leaves like a signal that he's been there. They gave it to him. It was the Joker card.
What if we see the Penguin come out and be like,
I'm down.
Hey, I like your talents, and boom, like, oh, okay. I mean, this could be a good Arkham segue type of movie, because you saw the Joker in Arkham. You could see other people in Arkham. Obviously, the Riddler is in Arkham. So
that's right. I forgot about Joker. What they did show Joker at Arkham. Yeah, at the ending of the what was it? It was just called the Batman, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the Batman. So I mean, this maybe he gets caught and goes to Arkham at the end, and then you start to see all of them together. And then of course you got a leeway into Arkham Asylum, the video game. So I don't know, man. It could go a ton of different ways.
Yeah, that trailer left me breathless, man. Just that first image of the Clayface just wrapped up in bandages because he's going through all that surgery because he wants to be good looking still. He wants to still be that actor. And then I thought they picked the perfect song for it too. You'll have, you have the prettiest face in the world. They kept on repeating it over and over again. And then it just went to chaos, it looks like him having psychological breakdowns. Obviously they showed him using the iconic spike ball move that he goes to, but whatnot. But the nerd in me, I really want to see them recreate the iconic scene where he goes crazy in the TV show room, where Batman figures out like, okay, why don't I just flood him with a bunch of the characters he's played before and let him, and then think about it. That 90s Batman animated series was supposed to be for kids. That scene was like horror vibes.
Yeah. And then, I remember that. It was, it brought up, you got to think, man, back in our history, we got a lot of movies and cartoons that we thought were made for us and kind of just tore us up as kids.
Yeah.
The one that always comes to mind is Never Ending Story with Atreyu and Artex. That
Optimus Prime dying.
Yeah, Optimus Prime dying. There's just so many iconic scenes, and that one from the Batman animated series, that was very iconic.
Yeah, that was a really good one too. And by the way, yes, it's all about being as kids, mind you, being so innocent. Yeah, the first episode of Thundercats, they're all naked. Not kidding. Yeah, they're all naked. Go look at that beginning episode.
Have you heard that thing about Thundercats, where the Thundercats were the villains, and
Yeah,
Mumra
yeah.
was the hero because he was protecting his planet from the
Yeah,
Thundercats taking it over. I
yeah,
saw
yeah.
that today, and I'm like, I never thought about that. I never thought
Makes
about that.
sense to me. I mean, they
It's
crash landed on his gym. They
uh,
wanted to make an establishment,
yeah,
they didn't even ask him. Yeah,
yeah,
Mama was like, what the age? Like what the F?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So I don't know, man. Some of these cartoons from back in the day are making me really think a lot more these days because it's crazy. It's crazy,
That is
crazy, man.
crazy. But if you have not checked out the new trailer for Clayface, go check it out. Even if you're not a nerd, if you're just a horror fan, as a horror fan, go look
Mhm.
at that. If you're just a movie fan, go look at it. It is just creepy, just so creepy, but it's perfect. And I think that's probably the best way to handle the character of Clayface. You don't
Mhm.
want to yuck it up with that. You don't want to just be, oh, just another villain. Here goes Batman to save the day. Nah. He's all goopy and just gross, and when he's not in, I guess, human form, I guess, when he's just like the creature.
Yeah.
So go check it out. Yeah, highly recommend it. He is Mr. Rudy Campos of the Sports Answer. What's going on with the answer?
Yeah, so you'll be able to catch myself and Derek Irvin. We'll be in studio at the radio station on Friday for the Friday Drive. The way to get that is go through Answer Now TV on YouTube,
Mhm.
hit that subscribe button. You catch the actual Sports Answer show on Sundays. And don't forget, you can catch Spurs in Focus as part of Answer Now TV as well. So be sure to subscribe there. You get all NBA talk. We're gonna dive into some NBA playoff talk. A
Mhm.
couple of questions. We're also gonna get into some Spurs talk as well. Some of the topics you hear on Spurs in Focus, we actually talk about it on those shows as well. So we'll kind of elaborate, get Derek's opinion on a lot of that stuff too. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's just a great time with us here over at the Sports Answers. So be sure to subscribe to Answer Now TV.
Absolutely, check him out on X at the Sports Answer. By the way, I saw your recent show with Derek. Man, impressive stage setup y'all got there.
Yeah, we
That was pretty
yeah.
swanky, buddy.
Well, hopefully we can drag you in the studio one day so you can.
Well, the last time I was in studio, I make taking shots at you or Shemaya or
No, yeah.
Derek. It was, your basic setup at the table and a couple
Mhm.
cameras, and Shemaya was behind us doing what he does. But when I saw this one, I was like, oh, they raised their game.
Yeah,
They
we
raised
sure
their
did.
game up. Woo.
We sure did. I was able to cash my pennies, and I just had enough for
Yeah,
the upgrade on the studio to help them
yeah,
out. So yeah,
yeah,
we have a little bit of upgrade. We actually have our own
yeah,
studio there now, so that's
yeah.
an extra plus and a bonus right there.
All those pennies you spent, I'm assuming that was from your work as a Chippendales dancer at night.
Yes.
I
So,
figured that's much. Yeah,
um,
I
for yeah,
thought so.
I used to work as a Chippendale dancer.
Yeah.
It was during the blind hour, so really
The
nobody could see me, but I was able to cash in a lot of those coins.
Yeah. Rudy's stage name was Clay Junk. That's what it was.
um, I would. It's a kids show, so I won't say
Oh
my
yeah. Let's not go there.
actual
Yeah,
claim,
I
actual
already
stage
dropped. I
name.
already dropped an S bomb already, so we can't do any more
Yeah,
here. All right, everybody. Rudy, thank you so much for joining us here in Spurs in Focus. And by the way, again, probably not the last time we're going to see him this week.
probably
I got to
not.
talk to him about something. That I might be cooking up right now. We'll let y'all know if that comes out or not. Rudy, again, thank you so much. We appreciate you. Everybody else, we thank y'all for making Spurs in Focus your first and only spot for all things San Antonio Spurs. This should be your first listen each and every day. Come here to Spurs in Focus and subscribe on YouTube, iTunes, Pocket Cast, Amazon Podcasts, YouTube Music, YouTube itself. And don't forget about the Spurs in Focus Substack, completely free. Hit subscribe. No cost to you. You are in, and it is free. We will likely be back tomorrow. There's a chance I might be by myself. I got a little special thing for y'all now that we kind of have a little break between games. So if not, we'll definitely have a guest. Either way, there will be a show. So look forward to that. And again, thank y'all for making Spurs in Focus your first spot. So for Mr. Rudy Clayface Campos, I am Jeff Garcia. Now you're in focus with Spurs in Focus.